Well, hello everyone. Everybody in the chat. Big Dice, Sun Honey, Cindy.
Hello to everybody I can't see. How's that?
Hey everybody out there. Good to see everybody. Welcome.
And hello, Dan.
Well, yeah,
Hey,
welcome,
Rob.
Dan.
How you going, Brian?
Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of days. We were actually gonna be talking about um, vaccines, but we sort of had to switch gears and get back into this WHO.
Oh,
This the WHO. What's going on with the WHO? Now that we found a little bit more information out about it. Well, actually, a lot more information about it.
excellent.
Yeah.
How are we going, Tracy?
And we'll just wait for see if a few more people show up here, and
I'm sure Tracy can sing the cheddar song, and Big Dice will be
there we
dancing
go.
away in the corner. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, we just. I was just sort of. What had for last week? I found out like there was like the international health regulations and then the amendments to the health regulations. Since then, they found out that there's actually a third and fourth part going on at the same time. There's the global pandemic treaty, or accord as they like to call it, because they don't like using treaty as a word. And then now the global digital health certification.
Yes.
Yes, I did see
that. Just so everybody knows, that will be a digital passport.
That is pretty. Yeah, that is exactly what it will be.
It'll be a digital restricting passport is what it'll be.
And not just between countries. It will be within your country as well. If they get through all these amendments they want to get through.
Yeah.
Hey, Paula.
Hi, Paula. Hi, Tracy.
They very much want to restrict your movement, not just cross borders, but in your own country. Let that sink in, people.
Newsflash, they're already doing that. It's just going to be way worse.
Well, as everybody knows, in Canada, we've already had a taste of that with our what did they call them here? their vaccine passport.
Yeah, we've had the same thing as you guys, Brian, and it's, funnily enough, actually still in place. It's just been shelved for later.
Yeah.
Is the word that was, is the phrasing that was used.
Yeah. And now it's unfortunate I'm having kind of computer issues, and I'm going to try and share this little clip here.
Well, Brian, you're not supposed to have 50 tabs open at once.
Oh, I don't. I'm down to bare minimum. Okay, so let me just.
While the emergency phase of the COVID-19 pandemic is now over, investments in digital infrastructure remain an important resource for health systems and for economies and societies at large. Like many countries, the European Union made significant investments in COVID-19 certificates to help people move around as safely as possible during the pandemic. The European Union certification system was used.
And it froze, Brian.
Esther, Brian, are you there?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. I just make a statement. They said the digital vaccine passport helped people move around. It did the opposite. It stopped people from moving around. People could move around before the passport.
Okay, but I want to make this a very pointed thing. When this was implemented, folks, it was based upon the lie that we were told that the vaccination would stop transmission. And we all know that now was not true.
Yeah.
Now, whether you want to call it a lie or not, I guess is up to you. Considering the Pfizer documents that put out, I would go with the latter. But just remember that all this stuff is based off untruths and how they did this stuff and how they're doing it now. Go ahead.
All 27 EU member states and more than 50 other countries. Building on the success of the EU system, WHO is proud today to launch the Global Digital Health Certification Network. So thank you so much to European Union for the excellent certification system that you have transferred to us, and we have the chance to build on it. WHO will begin operations of the network today with the existing COVID-19 certificate as a global public good. Soon after, we will expand this infrastructure by incorporating other use, such as a digitized international certificate of vaccination, routine immunization cards, and international patient summaries.
International patient summaries, i.e., they're going to have all your medical records on it.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And you dig into it a little bit further, and you'll also see what prescriptions you're taking, just about everything. They're going to have that. They're going to have that information.
I mean, I don't know about in your country, but in my country, there's supposed to be a thing called the HIPAA law, where your medical information is not supposed to be shared out to anybody unauthorized other than between you and your doctor.
Yeah, it's the same in Canada.
Yeah. Same here.
And I want you guys to realize that This is going to be controlled by a third-party group of unelected people. Nobody elects them.
Which sort of kind of runs into the these amendments that are coming.
Did you lose your train of thought there?
Yeah, I just got something here. Just give me a second.
All right.
Okay, I'm just going to. I have to. Apparently, my video is set for kids.
Oh.
So if you want to just.
Yeah, I'll take over for a minute. Go ahead.
You can ramble on for a minute, I'm sure.
Yeah, I can ramble.
Only a minute, Jesus. That's a miracle.
New Zealand and Australia, particularly, and somewhat in the UK as well. If you look at the laws about how your online speech or your offline speech, speaking out about stuff, and now with Canada, basically, they have carte blanche, the government does, for censorship on anything that they do online. Like if they wanted right now, they literally could censor Bryant. They may be, I don't know. But all these things play in together to what they're doing.
They literally could do the same thing to me too, this very moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, being that in Brian's case that he's hosting this, it gives them authority to do so according to the laws they just passed.
Yep. That's exactly correct.
And if you look at any of our congressmen or our parliaments or whatever you happen to have in your country, there's a few people speaking out, but they're saying the same thing. That all you people sitting up here, representatives, are supposed to be representatives of the people. And you're supposed to be pro-democracy and pro-freedom and all this. But you're going to bandy this about upon the people. And this is the last thing that I would call freedom or democracy. Where unelected people are going to dictate what you're going to do and how you move.
Exactly.
And if you haven't seen the stuff out of China in the videos, which is what they're modeling this on, make no mistakes about that. They will literally, the whole idea of the 15-minute city and the idea behind it isn't just the fact that they'll keep you encompassed into a area they deem necessary for you, but they're also going to deem through carbon credits and through carbon taxes what you can buy, when you can buy it, or if you're even allowed to, depending upon many factors, including what you've bought before or even your social credit score. And this is all going to be tied into, as we can see now, a third-party world organization of unelected people controlling it.
Also, there is another factor too. Socioeconomical status will be factored into that. So if you are of a certain status in society, you will get even less.
Well, basically what they're going to do is going to, there will be no such thing as middle class.
Yep.
And you'll either be the special people or you'll be the plebes and the proles, I guess, if you want to use those words in very much correct terms.
Yes.
And make no mistake, folks, this isn't bullshit. This isn't conspiracy theories. They're doing this, and they're doing it fast. You know, everybody says I won't see it in my lifetime. I'll be dead by then. No, you won't.
No,
We will see this in our lifetime. We will see this in the next couple years, if not sooner. You know, the only thing it's going to take is another big scare, and they'll use that as justification to just ram everything home.
Yeah. So figured it out. So yeah. So going back to what you're saying about the World Organization having control over everything, I'm just gonna share. I'm just gonna share this here. Let me just cue that back up.
You asked an excellent question. If I tell you WHO as an organization only to take ahead and go around
I'm gonna cue that up again. I think I went silent there.
Yeah, it went.
Yeah.
Got a little garbled.
You asked an excellent question. If I tell you WHO as an organization only 30% of my budget, other 70% I have to take ahead and go around the world to beg for money. And when they give us the money, they are highly linked to their preferences, what they like.
So did that come through?
Kinda.
Well, basically,
kind
so
of.
she's the last director of the World Health Organization, and only 30% of the funding comes from we say government.
Yep.
The rest comes from private donation, which comes with strings attached. That's basically. And Bill Gates is the second largest donor to the WHO.
Yep.
So.
Well, and truthfully, that's almost irrelevant because all of these corporations and the people behind them are hiding behind those.
Yeah.
They all have their fingers in the pot. And don't think that it's, you know, I don't know if people remember, but everybody bandied about the 1%. You know, it isn't the 1%. Your doctor could be a 1%. Your mechanic could be 1%. A small business owner could be 1%. This is the ultra rich. We're talking people who have more money than nations.
Yeah.
And it's a very small group of people.
It's extremely small.
You know, and unfortunately, many of our politicians right now, and Klaus Schwab is as much admitted this. He has many of his proteges embedded in governments now.
Yeah.
People that they've literally trained, brought up with a certain ideological belief system. In my opinion, bent no different than a cult.
I would agree.
Yeah.
They, just like that lady's saying that, it may seem like they're all altruistic and all that, well, they're not. And these things that they're going to pass isn't going to be a benefit to people at all. Not at all. And if they get this through, I don't think people realize how much their lives are going to change, and the lives of their children and the lives of their grandchildren. And not for the better. Not for the better at all.
Yeah. No, it is not going to. It's not going to benefit. It is not going to benefit me, for sure.
How you going, Rick?
Hello, Rick. I can't see you, but hello. What people need to realize is in our online world, what we have going and what we do, it is a very small piece. It's real world stuff that where we need to be talking to people. And I'm going to say this in no uncertain terms. It behooves people that if you have friends and family that are in law enforcement, that they understand what's going on. If they're in the military, they need to understand what's going on.
Exactly, Rob. Personally, I've spoken to members of my family who are attached with those various skills and specialties. And some of the responses have been positive, some not, and that's okay. That's the way it goes. Just because something's hard doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. If anything, we should be doing the hard thing.
Well, I'll say this. And if this is to anybody that's listening that's to the other bent, you need to get rid of your petty bullshit and your little issues. Because it doesn't matter what side of the fence you're lying upon when it comes to this. This is going to be the chains that are going to be put on everybody. And if you think that you're going to be immune to it or that you're going to be a special snowflake, you're sadly mistaken. This would make a certain dictator back in the mid-1940s jizz himself if he had this power right now. And to me, it seems like they're following the playbook.
Yeah. Big Dice makes a statement here. A lot of people heard a lot of people heard the truth, thinking there's nothing they can do about it, so they just pretend nothing's happening. Well, they better realize that putting your hand in the sand and not trying to do anything is then you've already lost.
That's a guarantee that nothing will happen.
Yeah, that's defeatist. You've just given up. And then everybody loses.
Yeah.
If enough people speak out and speak up, they're going to back off. Because the last thing they want is the only other alternative that none of us want.
Yeah.
And I don't say that lightly. I have never said this in one of my things, but I can tell you right now, folks. If we don't stop this, we're in for some very dark times.
Yeah.
100%,
Very.
100% darker than I can imagine, because I haven't been in those situations. But totally agree.
Yeah.
All this stuff you see going on with people's little special ideals and ideologies in society about how they feel or they think things should be need to be tossed out the window, because if we don't get people together behind this and stop it, we all lose. And I can't say that with any more conviction than what I'm saying right now, that everybody's bullshit. They need to hang it by the damn door and get on board with what's really going on. Because this has to stop, or we all will lose. I don't care what your beliefs are. I don't care what side of the fence you're on. I don't care what you think about politics or what you think about another person or whatever. It doesn't matter. All of that is irrelevant to this, because none of us will have a voice anywhere again.
So Gerald says, how about a clear and concise list of things the average person can do? Very good point, Gerald. And that will be the subject of next week's topic.
Nice little lead in there, Gerald. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and we will go through a list of things that the average person could do, and that's and we'll make it as easy as possible. I'll work on that this week, and we will have a list of things we can do.
Well, I can roll off a few things right now.
Yeah.
First off, get involved in your local politics. Most people don't at all. They have nothing. They don't ever get involved in their local politics.
And getting involved is as easy as paying attention to what's going on with your local politics.
Well, they're the first stop.
Yeah.
Go in and question them. See if they understand what's going on. See what their thoughts are. Because nothing can be done locally unless it goes through them. That's your first step. Next step is your state or province politicians.
Adding to that, so like in New Zealand here, getting involved with local politicians is as simple as going to a council meeting that is held once a month, typically in most councils here in New Zealand. Going to them, showing some interest in your community on a political front, and talking to your local politician. That's enough. And voicing your opinions and showing actual facts.
And the other thing that I can't stress enough is talking to friends and neighbors. There's a lot of people out there who have no clue this is happening. And they won't believe it at first. You're literally going to have to say, look, this isn't bullshit.
Yeah, I carry a lot of information on my phone, and I'm very willing to bring up documents and facts.
You know, there is no one answer other than getting the word out and getting people talking about it, and getting people to hold those who are supposed to represent us accountable. That's all we can do beyond the alternative.
Yeah. So have you brought information to them? Not just talking to Big Daddy. Says I've been to the MP's office a couple of times. Both of them are conservative, all conspiracy theories, according to them. You just can't show up unarmed, I guess, is the best. Unarmed without information.
Arm yourself with the facts. Present nothing but the facts in a very clear and
Yeah.
precise way.
Yeah, just bring up the WHO's website and point right to it. You want to tell me that's conspiracy? That's a funny looking conspiracy. It's a conspiracy, all right. A real one.
I would not recommend making that statement.
Guess it depends on who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing it boils down to, there isn't going to be one answer. Our problem is we become so disconnected from the people who are supposed to be in positions looking out for the best interests of the people. And they no longer represent the people.
Yeah.
They represent themselves and the organization that they believe that they belong to, which is supposed to be run by the people in many countries. Not just here, not just Canada, not just Germany, not just Australia or New Zealand or any other place that's of the Western world. Governments are supposed to be there to serve, not to dictate. And what we have now is soft dictatorship, and we're about to move into hard dictatorship.
Those are all great things, big guys. Keep going. Keep doing that.
Yeah. I would.
You're doing the best you can, and it looks to me like you're being very proactive.
Yeah, I would document that in an email and send it to them. That way they can't deny that they haven't seen the information, and that they can be held accountable for ignoring the information.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow that seems to get a better response.
You know, I guess it boils down to this. There isn't one right way. We're being hit on all fronts with many different things. Many different things.
Yeah.
And that's what they're planning on and betting on to ram all this stuff through because people won't notice.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you want to believe that they've found little green men and aliens are flying around now. I seem to remember some changes in government when they pulled this bullshit the last time. We can't be distracted by the stuff that isn't focused on what they're trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not an easy task. It's not something you can just do once and figure it's accomplishing anything. It's a constant grind.
You know, I know there's people in here who have been affected by this already.
Yeah.
By some of the things that they're doing. You know,
if you gave a friend information 7 months ago, he will never go back to the Canadian Forces. So is that a success story? I'm assuming. I'm thinking.
It sounds like it. It sounds very much like it.
And to be totally honest, I mean, face to face, one-on-one is where I've had the most success.
I know I can speak for myself. In the past couple of weeks, I've had much more success in the real world than I have in the online world. I've managed to get a couple people who know a lot of people, and now there's a lot of people asking questions, asking for information.
That's a win.
That it's
That's
a big win because it went from a couple people to about 30 people right quick.
Yeah.
You know, and I live in a very small community. I mean, the largest town near me is 400 people. So when you get that amount of people asking questions in these small communities, and they start talking to their friends and family, and they start seeing what's really going on, you know, that's the biggest part, is to get people engaged.
Yeah.
We think that we can just ignore the people who are supposed to represent us, and they're going to do what's in our best interest. That's a lie. They're going to do what's in their best interest.
I can understand that fear, Stephanie. Very real fear. And that's exactly what they do to control masses of people. Fear is the most useful tool to control the most people.
Absolutely.
And so are we going to still live in fear, act out of fear, or are we going to stand?
Yeah.
It's a tough choice.
I've I don't know. People know I'm a site superintendent on a construction sites. The jobs are usually 3, 4, 5 months long. Now, so I worked just since COVID started, mostly across BC, and the number of people that I've been able to inform, and even with the possibility of failing inspections, I was able to inform people of what's actually going on. Some of them left. I'm not sure. At least they left with the information, and I didn't have any. I didn't have any failed inspections, I guess, is what the point is.
Mm-hmm.
So, and some of them were pretty adamant on all the lockdowns and protocols.
Brian, could you do me a favor and highlight Sun Honey's comment right there? That is the very reason we need to stand up and not act out of fear. That is the very reason we need to, as a global peoples, do as much as we can. That is not the reason to stop. That is the reason to keep on plugging forward, even if it's one toe at a time. Because what other option do we have?
At this point we have no options, and right now, as like in Canada, all our distractions are going on with the LGBTQ, Trudeau, the Trudeau Foundation, climate change, fires.
And by the way, folks, what Brian just said when it comes to climate change, that's one of the things they're adding into this whole thing, is that they're going to have the power to limit people's movement and limit people's ability to do things, not just because of viruses or pandemics or sicknesses, but because of climate.
Mm-hmm.
That's in their stuff too.
Yeah. It's total control, and the new the global pandemic treaty and the international health regulations will be combined into one document by the end of 2024, and that gives complete control to a organization that gets 70% of its funding through basically the private and corporate sector, which comes with strings attached. It's all the information is out there. What nanoparticles was the mayor of New York City speaking of? I can only assume that it would be the liponanoparticles, which coats the mRNA vaccine, which is a problem in itself. And I just read another study on liponanoparticles, and it's not good. It's and that's one of I don't care. I'm coming out and say it. So the mRNA spike protein is wrapped in these liponanoparticles. These liponanoparticles are so fragile that you cannot do a proper mixing of the vaccine, which leads to the actual amount of dose of the mRNA vaccine in each vial. Each vial is different. Some are like so it's not a homogenized vaccination. So you get different doses of the spike protein, not only from different batches, but the vaccine was you could get them in single dose vials and 5-dose vials. So you can have even within the 5-dose vial, you could have a higher concentration of the mRNA vaccine in different parts of the vial. And it sort of goes to where you have areas where people seem to have more reaction to the vaccine than in other areas, and that kind of leads to, and that's only a theory. Well, it's not a theory that the liponanoparticle, which covers the spike protein, is very fragile, and they've been having manufacturing issues with it. The rest of it's kind of a theory. So. Yeah. Statistics give you better odds in Las Vegas. They do. It's a kind of a crapshoot. It'll be a lot worse than mass. They're big dice. You think they had control? Before. There will be.
think we lost you, Brian.
Yes, I think we've lost Brian.
Am I back?
You're
You are
back.
back now.
Yeah.
Started hearing the clicking of your mouse.
Yeah. I really gotta update this system.
Well, a 386 is pushing it, guy. Come on.
I was expecting that.
Yeah, that was the first computer I set up a recording studio on.
And he's still using it.
Yeah.
He upgraded from an Abacus.
And that's another thing. They've got what is it? It's RSV, is it?
Yes, RSV.
Okay, so now they're coming out with another vaccine.
Yeah.
And it seems like they didn't go back to the old protocol for approving vaccines. They seem to be going with the new emergency use protocol.
Who needs clinical trials? Who needs proof? That's the old way of doing stuff.
Yeah, the phase 3 trials were never meant for the general public, and right now, for the COVID vaccine, we're still in the phase 3 trial, and they and basically, what do they call it? The people that aren't vaccinated. The comparison group or whatever.
The control group.
The control group.
Yeah.
They tried to get rid of the control group by forcing everybody.
There's actually a lawsuit going on right now against the Department of Defense. And what it states in it is that the vaccination that they gave, I'm assuming their relative, wasn't the vaccine that was approved, because the Comirnaty was what was approved. But what they gave them under the EU, the emergency use, was not the Comirnaty.
No.
And I don't know if people realize that, but that's been ubiquitous across everything.
Canada and the United States for sure. They came out and said full approval. But the Comirnaty never made it to the shelves. Nobody in the US or Canada has gotten a fully approved vaccine. And it's still not available. As far as I know. Could be wrong on that one.
Not that I'm aware of. I've not heard anything to the otherwise, and I think that's been kind of shelved because of reasons, maybe. Now their new bivalent, is the next wonder drug or whatever.
Yeah.
It appears that way, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, they tried to push that there in Canada, recommending they see psychologists as a treatment, or to convince the unvaxxed. I'm gonna try and play this other thing. Sees my computer has settled down a bit. See if this is going to work.
Year, 1 year from now, they will merge the pandemic treaty and the 300 amendments. They will be synchronized with each other, synthesized with each other, and they will be essentially one document, and they will next year to get all the go, but they all in next year. But what the our said here this afternoon is that the United States is all in and fully on board with these 300 amendments as currently written, and anybody can access them at the World Health Organization website. But also, they're all in on the global pandemic treaty. So the United States is for this. All the nations of the world who spoke today, they're all for it. There isn't one that's dissented. So unless we intervene, this is a done deal 1 year from today. And that's when we have an existential threat to our sovereignty, and we will lose it 1 year from today. But there is time for intervention. So as I mentioned to you yesterday, Steve, there aren't any members of the House of Representatives here. There isn't the United States Press Corps. There's an absence. There's no member of the United States Senate. For heaven's sakes, you would think that they would call these documents in to the Senate and to the House to review them. They need to do that soberly. They've got to review all of this, because this will be what the United States is required to come under. They call it an accord. But it's a treaty. But it's funny, they slip sometimes and they use the word treaty, and then they say, oh, an accord, because they don't want it to be called into place. But this is it. We have the plan now. They've given us the timetable. They've given us the agenda. They've given us the content of the new rules that they expect us to live under. So think of it this way. It would be like they're rewriting a new Declaration of Independence and a new Constitution of the United States for us and all of the people of the world to live under. It is global governance through the platform of World Health.
Yep.
That pretty much says it right there. For us, it's our Charter of Rights and Bill of Rights. For you guys, it's the Constitution. They're basically, they want to, I don't know what more to say.
Yeah, boom, there it is all I'm going to say.
Yeah. And the fact that these amendments and these treaties don't go through the government.
Nope.
There's a government representative, or I don't know, or a country representative.
Supposed to be.
Yeah. And that's the information we'll try and gather this week as who's actually in charge of this. It's Canada's a little easier to find out than the U.S. But and that's the people we need to make aware that we're aware of what they're doing.
Boy, I so want to say something.
I dare ya.
Nope.
He's got nervous twitches going on right now, holding it all back.
I'd like to repurpose a ski rope on a nice strong tree. How's that? I'm thinking green.
Yeah.
You know, folks, the only thing that I can say is it's a bit overwhelming, and everybody feels like they're powerless, but we're not. Um,
Hey, Mandy.
we have to make them understand that we aren't going to accept this. In no way, shape, or form are we going to accept this.
Yeah.
You know, with the whole idea with the digital currencies, which they're already pushing out, and with the WHO in charge of the environmental aspect of it as well. You know, how would you like to have to get permission to go buy a steak or a hamburger, even? Are you going to want to have to get permission from your local authorities to go see your family members that may live on the other side of your province or your state or your country? Are you going to be allowed to fly to another country to see a relative or to go on a vacation? No, nope, that's not going to happen. The super rich will. They'll fly around their private jets, no problem. That's because they're the special people, but not us.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and if anybody wants to look at the documents that we're talking about, they're all in the description. You can have a look, and as I can say, we'll see what we can dig up for steps that we can take to try and stop this.
Biggest thing is don't be quiet.
And don't lose
Yeah.
your cool.
Nope, don't lose your cool.
No. Yeah, and a lot of times it's not what you say, it's how you say it, how you approach it.
Hmm. Keep things bite-sized and simple.
Yeah.
You know, and there's Dr. Campbell did a very good part on this. Dr. Drew had a very good talk on this very same thing.
Yeah.
I post the links, but I can't see shit right now, folks. But
Let
I'm
me
sure
see
you know who they are, and it's pretty easy to find them
Yep. Most of the people,
or aware who they are. Yeah.
yes.
You know, and the other things that me and Brian were going to do, and Dan on this one, was talk about what's going on with the whole COVID thing and what's happening, and you need to pay attention to that as well, because there's more and more lawsuits coming up
Definitely.
because things are not didn't come out as they were portrayed.
Hmm. I can just a quick talk to that. The NZ, the SOS, which is the NZ Doctors Speaking Out with Science, they are pretty close to being ready to state their cases on behalf of the injured of New Zealand. So there have been some positive step forwards in terms of that organisation finally being able to at least make a formal statement in court. Still very early stages, still a lot of bantering about how it's going to happen and what's the best way in which that's going to occur, but it is occurring. Thanks to great many people all over the country donating to that cause in order for them to present their case in court. So while there are some people in this world doing some things online, there are other real people in the real world also doing some things. And it is having an impact. So please don't give up. We have no
don't
choice.
think you don't. Just think. Don't think that just because you're one person, you can't have an effect, because you can. I don't care if it's just one person you talk to. Every little bit helps. Every little bit helps.
And every country matter. And
Yes.
all different people of all different thought. They all matter. We might disagree with some, but they all matter. We all matter.
Yes, son, honey, I am going to keep this stream up. Unless YouTube takes it down before, until YouTube takes it down, I guess is the. So far I haven't gotten any strikes, so we'll see.
Well, hey, let me fix that.
We try to word things and phrase things in ways to enable these to stay up.
Yeah.
But then there's Robert. There's always a special case.
I might have said something about the homogenization of the vaccine that might get us taken down.
Yeah, that's
possibly.
That's a possibility.
That's why I said we try.
Yeah. But sometimes you just can't. Got to say what I got to say. What needs to be said.
Yeah.
So, Doc, there's the link to Dr. John Campbell there on the global digital. What's it called again? Global digital certificate. That's what it is.
It's called the Global Digital Rectal Exam.
Yeah.
And you're going to be happy about it.
And you're going to be happy about it, yes. And you're going to be happy about it.
Yeah. There you go. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Exactly, son, honey. And no matter how disheartened you get, stick around with good people, have a bit of fun here and there, and remember, we're all trying to help each other.
And I hate to say it, tell the idiots to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
What he said.
Well, on that note, we've hit the hour mark. I'd like to keep them around that. And so anybody who wants to have a look at the documents, check the description in the video. Stay tuned for next week. We will have some.
When you're done, I want to know something, Brian.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have some steps that we all can take to get this resolved.
Mm-hmm.
And just to inform everybody, you're not going to see me around online a lot, because until I get back to the eye doctor, and hopefully they can do something, but right now I'm effectively blind.
Yeah.
So, not that I don't want to be around, folks. It's at the moment I just can't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It took a lot for me just to be here.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for showing up. Have a look at the information. Go watch Dr. Campbell. And all I can say for now is talk to people. One-on-one's the best way to go, because in reality, we're in a pretty small bubble on YouTube.
Yeah. We've got to get outside of just the online thing. We have to talk to people in real space.
Yep. And it's been good to see everybody here.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for coming, and thanks Brian and Robert for the information. It's always appreciated, and hopefully your eyes improve.
I will do that. I'll put it up on the community page. Links to the documents. Thanks for the suggestion. And on that note, I'll put the links on my community page, so it'll be easier to get to. It's one less step.
Yep.
All right, everybody, we're out of here. Have a good night, all.
Bye.
We'll talk to everybody next week, or maybe sooner. As things escalate, we might have to get the information out a little quicker. So, on that note, good night, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Stay safe.